What happens when the protectors become the predators? In the quiet town of Blue Ridge, two trusted officers, Robert Whitman and Ray Donovan, were seen as symbols of safety and honor. To the townspeople, they were heroes, but beneath the surface, they hid sinister secrets that would change lives forever. While the community trusted them, Robert and Ray were secretly involved in a web of corruption, betrayal, and unimaginable crimes. Their actions led to heartbreak for one young woman, Lily, and her daughter Clara, but also to an unexpected story of redemption and ultimate justice. Stay till the end for a gripping tale of suspense, courage, and the fight for what's right. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. Blue Ridge was a small, peaceful town where everyone knew everyone. It was the kind of place where neighbors waved hello, local shops buzzed with friendly chatter, and community events brought people together. In this close-knit community, officers Robert Whitman and Ray Donovan stood out as pillars of safety and honor. They were always seen patrolling together, their presence a reassuring sight to the townsfolk. To the people of Blue Ridge, Robert and Ray were more than just law enforcement. They were protectors, friends, and symbols of everything good about their quiet town. But behind the badges and warm smiles lay a much darker truth. Robert, the older and more charismatic of the two, used his charm to manipulate those around him. He had a knack for making people trust him, especially women, who were often drawn to his kind demeanor. However, his charm was a mask, hiding a man who exploited trust for his own sinister desires. Ray, on the other hand, was quieter and less confident. He looked up to Robert and followed him unquestioningly, finding purpose in their partnership. While Robert led the way, Ray was a willing accomplice, complicit in the heinous crimes they committed together. To the people of Blue Ridge, they were heroes, but in reality, they were predators hiding in plain sight. Robert Whitman was a master of deception. With his easy charm and gentle demeanor, he knew how to make people feel safe, especially women. He built trust effortlessly, attending community events, offering a listening ear, and always seeming to care. But this trust was his weapon. He would invite women to his home under the pretense of support or kindness. A meal, a chat, a place to unwind. Once his guests let their guard down, Robert would spike their drinks with a drug that left them drowsy and vulnerable. By the time they realized something was wrong, it was too late. The next morning, they would wake up disoriented, their memories clouded, unable to piece together what had happened. And Robert would carry on with his life as if nothing had occurred, confident his reputation would shield him from suspicion. One of Robert's victims was Lily, an 18-year-old girl who had recently moved to Blue Ridge, searching for a fresh start. Lily was bright and hopeful, but she was also alone, making her an easy target for someone like Robert. He quickly took an interest in her, presenting himself as a caring figure, someone she could trust. Over time, he groomed her, offering advice and support, making her believe he was a friend. When he finally invited her to his home for dinner, Lily had no reason to suspect his intentions. That night, as they talked and laughed, Robert carefully drugged her drink. Lily began to feel strange, her vision blurred, her limbs heavy. By the time she realized something was wrong, it was too late. The next morning, she woke up confused, her mind unable to recall the events of the night before. Robert, as always, acted as though nothing had happened, using his authority and charm to ensure her silence. Months later, Lily discovered she was pregnant. Overwhelmed and terrified, she made the difficult decision to leave Blue Ridge, unable to stay in the same town as the man who had hurt her. With what little money she had, she moved to a nearby town, determined to give her unborn child, Clara, a life far from the shadows of her past. Life as a single mother was far from the fresh start Lily had hoped for. With no family to lean on and limited opportunities, she struggled to provide for her daughter, Clara. The little girl was her light, but the weight of raising her alone pushed Lily into desperation. Long hours at low-paying jobs barely kept them afloat, and as her financial struggles grew, Lily found herself slipping into illegal activities. First, it was selling narcotics, then prostitution, choices she made to keep Clara safe and fed. Each day, Lily told herself it was all for her daughter, even as the life she'd built for them became a far cry from the one she'd dreamed of. Years later, defeated by the harshness of the world she'd entered, Lily made the difficult decision to return to Blue Ridge. She hoped the familiar town might offer some stability, but instead, she found herself entangled with Ricky Malone, a dangerous gang leader who ran a child trafficking ring in the area. Ricky quickly drew Lily into his world, and it wasn't long before she crossed paths with Robert and Ray once again. Seeing Robert for the first time in years was a shock, an unwelcome reminder of her darkest memories. But to her surprise, Robert seemed as composed as ever, keeping their shared history buried. Ray remained his quiet, complicit shadow, and neither man revealed the sinister truth. They were deeply involved in Ricky's trafficking ring, profiting from the very crimes that plagued Blue Ridge. For Lily, the reunion was unsettling. She'd thought she could move on, but being near Robert and Ray again dredged up old fears. Ricky's growing interest in Clara only deepened her unease. He'd pat her daughter's head, buy her small gifts, and make comments that left Lily's stomach in knots. But as much as she wanted to protect Clara, Lily felt trapped. Speaking out meant risking her safety and her daughter's. With Clara's future on the line, Lily buried her fears and anger, keeping quiet while living in constant fear of the predators disguised as protectors. Every day she vowed to save enough money to leave Blue Ridge for good, but time was running out, and the secrets she carried were growing too heavy to bear. Clara's disappearance shook Lily to her core. One moment, she was a bright, curious girl full of life, and the next, she was gone without a trace. Unbeknownst to Lily, Clara had been abducted by Robert and Ray, who intended to sell her as part of their child trafficking ring. To them, she was just another target, until Robert noticed something familiar in Clara's eyes. Memories of Lily flooded back, and a chilling thought began to consume him. Clara might be his daughter. For the first time, guilt and regret pierced his carefully constructed facade, and Robert found himself torn between the darkness of his actions and the growing suspicion of Clara's connection to him. Meanwhile, Lily was frantic, scouring Blue Ridge for any sign of her daughter. Her search led her to Ricky, the one person she believed could uncover the truth. But when she confronted him, his cold and dismissive response only deepened her fear. "People come and go in Blue Ridge," he muttered, a sinister hint of the town's corruption. Desperate and out of options, Lily realized the depth of the danger Clara was in. Fueled by determination and fear, she vowed to find her daughter, no matter the cost, unaware that the truth was about to shatter her world. Haunted by his suspicions, Robert could no longer stay silent. He drove to Lily's apartment, guilt and desperation weighing on him. When Lily answered the door, her worry was etched on her face, but it turned to fury as Robert confessed. He admitted the truth about his crimes, his exploitation of her trust years ago, and his growing realization that Clara might be his daughter. The words hit Lily like a tidal wave, her heartbreak mixing with rage. "She is your daughter," she spat, her voice trembling, "and she's missing because of men like you." Robert, shaken to his core, vowed to bring Clara back and put an end to the trafficking ring, even if it meant facing his own reckoning. Robert returned to the secluded cabin, where Ricky and Ray were already preparing to finalize Clara's sale. His arrival raised suspicions, especially as he tried to stall the deal. Ricky, sensing something was wrong, pressed him. "This girl means something to you, doesn't she?" he sneered, his gun aimed squarely at Robert. Finally, Robert admitted the truth. Clara was his daughter, and he wouldn't let them harm her. Ricky laughed coldly, dismissing Robert's defiance, but the tension erupted into a violent confrontation. Robert fought with everything he had, wrestling Ricky to the ground and disarming him as Ray hesitated, torn between loyalty and self-preservation. Amid the chaos, Robert freed Clara and pressed his car keys into her hands. "Drive," he told her, his voice firm but gentle. "Get out of here and don't look back." Clara, terrified but trusting him, sped away into the night, leaving Robert to face the consequences. As the sound of sirens echoed in the distance, alerted by Lily's earlier call, Robert held off Ricky and Ray just long enough for justice to arrive, ensuring Clara's safety and bringing their reign of terror to an end. The police arrived just as the chaos reached its peak, sirens blaring and lights piercing the dark night. Ricky and Ray were swiftly arrested, their years of corruption and cruelty finally catching up to them. As officers surrounded him, Robert raised his hands and surrendered without resistance. He accepted his punishment, knowing it was the price he had to pay, not only for his crimes, but also for the safety of his daughter. Though he had lived a life of deceit, this final act of redemption would define his legacy in Clara's eyes. In the years that followed, Clara grew into a resilient young woman. The trauma of her past shaped her, but it didn't break her. Determined to ensure that no one in Blue Ridge would ever suffer as she and her mother had, she fought for justice, becoming a voice for the vulnerable. Though she couldn't forget what her father had done, she found a bittersweet solace in his sacrifice. In the end, Robert's decision to protect her at all costs redeemed him in her heart, proving that even the darkest paths can lead to moments of light. This story delves deep into themes of trust, betrayal, justice, and redemption. It shows how even those who seem trustworthy can betray that trust in unimaginable ways. But it also reveals the strength of the human spirit to seek justice and redemption. Robert's journey, while dark and full of regret, ultimately led to a sacrifice that gave his daughter Clara the chance to heal and build a better future. It's a reminder that even in the darkest places, redemption is possible, and justice can prevail when courage overcomes fear. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another story that uncovers the complexities of the human condition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.